and today I'm excited to speak with Kayla from the Niagara region.
I'm excited to share what's going on in Niagara. We've got tons of opportunities and all sorts of different ones. Deals. I'm excited for this. This is a 7-bed, 2-bath. This is for the house hackers. This is an in-law. The basement is rented for $800 per month. The tenant would like to stay. This is where it gets interesting. This property is for sale. 16 units, 13,000 square feet, built in 1949.
Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. My name is Ed Hervias. I'm a multifamily investor and longtime friend of the channel. And today I'm excited to speak with Kayla from the Niagara region. She'll be sharing some insights into the Canadian, into the Niagara market, and hopefully see some opportunities that can keep us engaged with the market over there.
Thanks so much, Ed. Hey everybody, it's been a few months, but I'm happy to be back. And I am excited to share what's going on in Niagara. We've got lots of stats because things are slowly starting to look a little bit different. Tons of opportunities and all sorts of different ones. And just a little tips and tricks that a program in Niagara that everyone loves that is back. So I will jump right in. For those of you that don't know, I do run a real estate team, the Smith & Co Realty. We are out of Niagara, but we span now from Niagara to the GTA. So this is from the Niagara Association of Realtors. So they just give a bit of data every month. So for the Niagara Association of Realtors, there was 817 residential properties compared to 864 in Feb 2022. These are the Feb statistics. The average days it took to sell a home in February 2023 was 48 days compared to 14 in February 2022. So keep that in mind because I'm going to show you why this isn't the most accurate statistic in just a minute. So as forecasted, the Niagara region has begun to spring back as month-over-month sales are up, the number of listings are up, and the average days on markets have decreased slightly. So then they go on to say that we're seeing home values are holding steady roughly at the same as it was in January. And looking back year over year, we will continue to see larger differences as the market did not begin to level out until late in the second quarter of 2022. So the MLS Home Price Index tracks price trends far more accurately than using average or median price measures. So what they're referring to, and I put it at the bottom, so the HPI composite benchmark is the data that they're pulling from, which is a house between 51 and 99 years old with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So these stats are based solely on that. So I wanted to make that clear before we go into them because I also pulled the stats for the entire market that look a lot different. So let me just, okay. So this is year over year for that composite, that composite house that they're talking about. So number of new listings is actually not that different. So Ed, you'll see we had 864 in 2022 and 817 in 2023. So not really much of a change. But the big change came for sales. It's still not massively drastic. It's not slap in the face like some of the stats were. 630 in 2022 to 449 in 2023. The average sale price, again, this is just for the HPI benchmark price, 808,100, also the height of the market, and 627.5 in 2023. And then that days on market, 13 and a half, 2022, 47.7 in 2023. Ed, what do you think of these stats?
Well, it's I'm from the Greater Toronto area. I'm from Brampton, and I've noticed I don't have these stats on hand, but definitely a trend seeing the days on the market for sure increasing across all the different regions. Yes. I also invest in Northern Ontario, and we're seeing that as well. But there's a lot less product up there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So trending kind of in the same direction. And then this is month over month. So Number of new listings is up, but only slightly for from January to February. Number of sales also up. It's a bit of a bigger jump there from 302 to 449. And then this is saying that the HPI benchmark price fell, but I wouldn't even consider that to be like statistically significant. It's just depends on what kind of house is sold at the time. I know it's all based off of the same style of house, but area plays a big role here. If you had that type of house sell in Niagara on the Lake versus in, let's say, Welland, those prices would look vastly different. And you can see that just like Niagara on the Lake is very expensive and Welland is somewhat affordable now, depending on what you're looking for. So average days on market, they're saying it's declined from January, where it was at 56.5, to February, which is at 47.7. So there's a few things I want to point out here. And one is the opportunity. Just because there are quite a few listings, they are sitting longer, although I would argue that this stat is a bit skewed. And the pricing is far more favorable, obviously, than it was last year around the same time.
Okay, it does seem like a steady winter so far.
Yeah. Like I think that buyer confidence is definitely up, and we're starting to see the seasonality play a role as well. Just historically, December, November starts to slow down, and then as the year picks up, we go into that spring market where it gets busy. No one really likes to move out when it's awful outside.
Yeah.
Most people like to move when it's a bit warmer, but that presents an opportunity right now where we are seeing, quite a few houses listed, and maybe not all of the buyers are in the market yet. And the opportunity for the sellers here is basically there's going to be a lot more people willing to list their homes as soon as it gets warmer, as soon as the houses show a bit better because the grass is green, But so that's the opportunity there. This is where things look a little bit different. So this is for all housing types. So it's also the median sales price, so it eliminates any extreme outliers. But I just wanted to show this. This has Hamilton in it as well, but if we're looking at the red line, that is Niagara. You can see they follow almost the exact trajectory, but Niagara has kind of gone up in a steep incline in terms of pricing. So where the HPI benchmark, which is that, 3-bed, 2-bath, 55 to 99 years old, had skewed down a bit, overall, the housing prices have gone up.
I see.
So this is, use the stats that make sense for what you're looking at, because they're not all saying the same story.
How are the clients that you've been working with these past couple of months finding the prices? Are they waiting to see for prices to go down? Are they actively putting offers in, or are you having to look outside Niagara a little bit?
So I think because of the markets that we're surrounded by, so like Hamilton and then like going out into the GTA, our market tends to still be on the lower end in terms of pricing. So we are still seeing a lot of people coming from those areas to purchase here. And in terms of investing, there's still a lot of people looking in Niagara. The numbers do still work. However, they're not doing the same things that they were. Like flips and the burr conversion was like all the rave for the last like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. We were doing them as well. Right. But if you're doing those now, you have to make so much money on the buy for it to make sense, and eliminate kind of the risk of, the market. No one exactly knows where it's going. We don't have crystal balls. But I do feel like there's a new level of buyer confidence, and it's not just like, their interest rates are obviously higher. We know that. That's been the story for the last year. However, pricing is down. The mortgage payments, despite for the same house that you would have bought, let's say Feb 2022 versus Feb 2023, the mortgage payments are not that different. Right now, it would likely be a little bit higher, but your down payment is lower. You got the house at a much lower price. And there's also that opportunity of when the interest rates start to trend downwards, you're actually in a better position than those people that bought, like way up here, who are still sitting in a 2.5% interest rate.
Okay. And is that some of the things you share with your clients? Like say I'm looking for a house and I'm asking you to help me. Is that some of the things that you would recommend? Like, I'm hesitant to buy right now. Let's say for the summer I want to wait, but I found this house that I like. Are these the type of things that you would share with me to help me be comfortable in making the decision sooner?
Yeah. So we're never in the market of pressuring people to buy. That's not us. We've probably talked ourselves out of more deals because we are very honest and upfront with what we think about the specific investment properties or houses. But what we do is like, okay, let's look at the numbers for this. Let's look at the numbers for that. If it's beyond our scope, we will refer to the mortgage brokers that we work very closely with.
Hmm.
Send them the deal, send them the house, and then the price, all that stuff, and have them break it down. But I think it's very eye-opening when you look at it, because obviously it's been doom and gloom for the last year, to see that, despite this really high interest rate, when you put them side by side, it doesn't look all that different.
Perfect. Perfect.
All
Hmm.
right. Now, this one's very interesting.
Different
So
story.
days on market,
Okay.
where we were trending upward and it was like 58 days. You can see 25 days for Niagara and then 15 for Hamilton. This is not that far, especially for Hamilton, but it's only about 19 days on market, which is a huge, obviously, difference, but from the peak of everything. But the crazy thing is just this stark drop from, December. But I will say seasonality, other than these weird COVID times, which was all this mess here, but you
Hmm.
can see it here. The same type of thing happened. So this looks historically the same as pre-COVID times.
So that's what you're used to. You're used to for 20, 25 days on market. That's average for Niagara.
Yeah, so it does differ all throughout the year. I
Mm.
should have done this graph a little bit further out, but it's kind of all over the place depending on the time of the year. Seasonality does play a big role in real estate. We have kind of our spring and fall markets, and then winter and summer slow down a bit, winter especially. But you can see that just never happened over the last
Yeah.
year and a half-ish. So it was a bit of a weird time, but there's some indication that even above and beyond seasonality, there is a little bit more buyer confidence in the market. And there's also, if you price your house right, it will sell. So just
Excellent.
wanted to show both of those statistics because they show a bit of a different story. But it's
Yeah.
because, again, we're using one kind of blanket type of home that is the most common, and then everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right. Deals. I'm excited for this.
There you go.
So I went we're all over the map here in terms of location in Niagara, in terms of types of properties in Niagara. We're everywhere, but I'm excited. So 92 St. David's Road, St. Catharines. This is right down the street from Brock. It would probably take, I don't know, 2 minutes by car, 20 minutes by walking. That's a guess, but it's just a straight shot. It's close to the Penn Center. You just have to go down Burley Hill. You're close to groceries. You're close to everything. This is a 7-bed, 2-bath. It's a decent sized house, $1,295, and then $1,000 in the basement. It has been listed for some time,
Mm.
and it is $650,000. The reason that I wanted to bring this up is because it's basically in Thorold. Don't tell anyone from St. Catharines. One street over, you're in Thorold, but it's leased for $4,700 a month, which for student rentals is pretty darn high. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was in this house yesterday.
Hmm.
Not going to say it's in perfect condition. I would say it needs a little bit of work. It seems structurally sound from what I could tell. I'm not an expert, hire a home inspector. But also the reason why I love this is because it fits kind of two demographics. It also has a 75 by width by 1/10 depth lot. The lot is huge. So if you have someone that's maybe looking to hold and build eventually, this is a good opportunity for them. And I would also guess that it's not my listing, but that there's some negotiating room there, considering how long it's been listed.
So just to clarify, is this rented by a single family right now, or is it rented as a student rental right now?
Yes, so it's students. Like I said, I was there yesterday for a student house. Honestly, not all that bad. And I've been through plenty of them. So there's 7 students in there. There's 2 bathrooms. There's one upstairs, one in the basement. Big backyard. the house was, you know, relatively well kept for it being a bunch of students in one, well, 7 in one house. And again, I just like it because it has, if you're a new investor and you want to get into development down the road, or, you know, you want to buy, hold, and then develop whenever, or you just want to take home 70, this is inclusive of utilities, so that's one thing to keep in mind. But $4,700 a month for a student rental is pretty substantial.
Yeah, for sure.
At this price point.
Right. And the location you mentioned is right down Brock, which is very good.
Yeah, like as far as location for a student rental, I don't think you could get better. There's a bus that runs right down St. David's that goes directly to Brock. So you have the option of driving, walking, or busing.
Excellent.
All right, moving on. This is for the house hackers. First-time home buyers, house hackers. I did it. It's, you know what, it's such a great way to get started. And for a lot of people, it's the reason why they get to continue. So this is in Welland. It's in downtown Welland. This is an in-law. The basement is rented for $800 per month. The tenant would like to stay. But it does have, like, so there's a 1 bed in the basement. It's a pretty big house. So you have 1,000 square feet upstairs. You have 650 square feet in the basement. But you have 2 bathrooms on the main floor, which is pretty rare to see. It says that there's a small bedroom upstairs as well. And the other thing, it does have a detached garage, so you want a little bit of more income. Maybe you're not using the garage. You can rent that as well. And it does have some room to force some appreciation through just some very basic cosmetic renovations. And the furnace and the central are 3 years old, so that's a major expense that's taken care of. Pretty favorable price point.
Yeah.
And it's been on the market for 14 days, so there might be a little room for negotiation, so like as it stands. And of course, right now you can do your home inspection, you can do your condition of finance, like those things are almost expected. So it puts first-time home buyers and house hackers in this situation in a very good position.
Excellent. And for those people who haven't heard the term house hacking, can you just describe it a little bit and how you benefited from it and how it helped you grow?
Yes. So house hacking is when you either live in a unit or you live in a room within a house and you live with other people. In this case, it's the unit in the basement and they pay rent, which contributes to your mortgage payment. When I did it, I bought a 3-bed, 3-bath semi, and I lived in the basement. And then I rented out the rooms upstairs, which was the 3 bedrooms. At the time, I think I was getting about $1,500 inclusive of utilities. We shared laundry, living room, kitchen, dining room. And honestly, it was the best decision in terms of, it was the only reason I was able to buy that house. First of all, I would have been absolutely house poor if I didn't do that. And when you live with your tenants, they are boarders. So if you get an absolute awful, if you share your kitchen, like what I did, if you share your kitchen and your living room, in this case, they would be tenants. But there's different landlord and tenant rules as well in that aspect. So depending what route you go, but this seems like a very good opportunity, low price point, basement's already rented, you have money towards your mortgage. For some people, this is gonna help for your approval. I like this one.
Excellent. And did it have a separate entrance?
Yeah, so there is a separate entrance.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, that goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. So it is completely separate, which is perfect.
Excellent.
All right, moving on. Okay, I'm not super fussy on the price point of this one. However, I do have a lot of clients that are very, very interested in Airbnb. Obviously, in Niagara Falls, there's an argument to be said that it's one of the best places to do it. Yeah, they have 14 million visitors every year. This one is actually legally zoned for Airbnb. So there's tons of people in Niagara Falls that are doing it outside of the zoning that allows it, but I have heard that they are starting to crack down on that. I'm in an Airbnb group on WhatsApp and I have heard some people getting letters. So this one, that would never happen. Unless of course there was a zoning change, but this is tourist commercial zoning. It is already licensed Airbnb. It is like a 5-minute walk from Clifton Hill, which is like basically where everyone goes. And it's a pretty big house. It has 7 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms and 1 kitchen, and it was converted from a triplex.
It was converted from, okay.
Yeah, and the other thing to consider here is all of the upgrades. So new ducts, new furnace, new AC, new windows, new garage, new kitchen, new bathrooms, new walls, new painting, new insulate. Like, they did everything. They passed fire. So again, I'm not super fussy on the price, but I do think that it's one to keep an eye out on, just in case, you know, maybe it sits and the price drops a little, because this could be a cash cow on the Airbnb side for sure.
And can you tell us a little bit about this special zoning for Airbnb? Is it a special zoning for short-term rentals or something specific for the area?
Yeah, so Niagara Falls, there's 3 different zones that you can do Airbnb, and this is one of them. If anyone wants the map or the zoning bylaw, just send me a quick email. I'm happy to send it. I have it. It's all commercial zoning, but there's a lot of houses that fall within that. So that's basically what it is. Legally, you can only operate short-term rentals within these 3 zones. This is one of them. But luckily, they do fall kind of very close to the things that people go to visit. So let's say you're downtown Niagara Falls, Clifton Hill, the casinos, they mostly do fall in those more commercialized areas. So a lot of opportunity if you can get one. They just don't come up all that often for very obvious reasons.
Right on, right on. Well,
so,
yeah, for
that's
sure.
that one. All right, moving right along. Okay, so this is a 5-unit residential building in Welland. So I'm not going to shy away from this one. Needs love. And by love, I mean lots of work. But so you have 4 bachelor units, you have 1 bed, 2 are rented and are, I would say, pretty under rented. But what that allows you to do is go in and update the ones that are vacant. 1 has already been done. The electrical and the plumbing are updated. It does have a dry full basement. And it is, like, again, they're very open about that it is in need of some repair and updating, but it's in an area that they were starting to see Welland put, you know, some of their money into. The downtown core of Welland has been, in my opinion, severely underfunded for a very long time. But we are seeing, you know, it kind of seems as if there's a change as more money and more people are moving to Welland. There is usually an influx of funding to the downtown core, which is exactly what happened in St. Catharines, and now the downtown core of St. Catharines is quite lovely. So, you know, this has been listed for a while. I would suspect that there's a little bit of room on the price here as well. It's not very often that you see 5 units. I know they're bachelors, so obviously your rent would be a little bit less there, but at almost $100,000 a unit is almost unheard of, especially in Niagara.
What do you just for my education and the viewers, what's the average rental for a bachelor or 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom in Niagara?
Yeah, so the bachelors, if they were renovated, that's usually what we work off of, because most people will pay obviously a bit of a premium if it's nice and it's been redone. So the bachelors would probably be in the $1,100 to $1,200 range, depending on how much they were, or sorry, how big they were. And then the 1-bed, anywhere from 14 to 16, just depending on the size.
Okay. Okay. And they all have their own kitchens and washrooms inside their own units.
Yeah, there's no sharing of that. They all have that. You can kind of see, oh, it doesn't show up on this one, but yes, so there's the kitchens, washrooms, and then obviously the bachelors, it's the bedrooms kind of all mixed in there. And the 1-bed would have the separate bedroom. Excellent.
Well, it looks good. If you can make the numbers work, for sure.
Yeah.
And how long has it been on the market? I didn't see that.
So this one has been up at this price just got dropped on March 8th. But previous to that, it was up for quite a while, a bit higher than this.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that one. Okay. This is where it gets interesting. So we now have access to a new program, which gives us access to a lot of, it's only for commercial. So your multis, your mixed res, hospitality, you know, literally industrial, everything. So I'm not necessarily showing this because I think this is like the best deal ever. I just wanted to show the type of information we can get for our clients very quickly. So this property is for sale. So it's 6024 Murray in the Corwin Crescent submarket. So I actually own in this area. It's quite nice. 16 units, 13,000 square feet, built in 1949, 0.7% vacancy in this specific building, 3.61 million, 225.6 a unit. These 2 stars just mean when in comparison to all of the multifamilies across Ontario or Canada, I'm trying to remember they explained this to me, but basically it's just comparing it to everything. So this doesn't mean that it's bad. This just means that in comparison to like the 5-star brand new one, it doesn't tick all of those boxes. So just to clarify that. All right, so now I'm just going
to. Is this a listing from your team, or is this the listings you have access to?
This is listings that we have access to. So
okay.
I was like months and months ago, I would sit there and be like, where the heck are these people finding these multis that I'm not seeing? Whether it's through the wholesale market or off market, but especially on realtor.ca, like our MLS system. I was like, I never saw that. How did that slip by me? It's because they're listed in here. So anyways, okay. So this is all of the data that we have access to very easily. So again, vacancy rate for the property, vacancy rate for the submarket, 1 to 3 stars. So that's like the stars that I was talking about. And then the submarket. Market asking rent for the submarket, for the unit, market effective rent, concession rate. So this is actually this is for Niagara Falls, but there's all your rents right there. And this is an average of the solds that they pulled data from.
And so, how long has it been in the market?
This one, I believe we will get there. It will be in here. But you can see, again, it just has endless data, market cap rate, sub-market cap rate.
Is it a sale by the are they selling it through an agent through a
yeah it's being sold through okay, so then there's all of this, and this is really what I wanted to show. So if anyone has a property that they are interested in, or let's say you're looking at something that if you give us a cap rate or you give us a ROI or what your monthly cash flow needs to be, whatever it is, we can then go into the system and enter that, and it just pulls the properties that fit that.
Right.
So the one reason that I do like this is like, okay, so vacancy rate, everyone's very interested in that. You see the property is orange, core 1 to 3 star, core, and then golden horseshoe. So it will give you what that is right now, right there. But it also gives you its forecast until 2028.
Fantastic.
And then it does that for vacancy. It does that for occupancy, market rent. So we're seeing a bit of a lull with market rent right now, just because there's been an influx of units for the people that couldn't sell at the price that they wanted to. But this is projecting that it is still going to go up.
Excellent. So you can filter down by an investor's request more than anything. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in this part of Ontario. I'm looking around this vacancy, kind of the cap rate.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do. Okay. Excellent.
And it also is just great because, like, if people are unfamiliar with the market, so we can pull this for, actually we have it for the States and everywhere, but obviously we don't transact there, but for anywhere in Ontario, we can pull this data. Canada, if we have an Edmonton investor, which obviously there's a lot of people doing that, not something that we do, but it's data that we can pull.
Okay. And your team is also working with active investors, multifamily investors, helping them search. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we were working with a lot of investors, and we also have a lot of multifamily investors that have contacted us very recently that are like, okay, these are all my properties. They're looking to get into bigger things, let's say the apartment buildings, maybe mixed use, or even just straight up commercial. And they're starting to offload their smaller stuff. They're giving us their portfolio and saying, hey, field this out to your network, and let me see if you can bring me buyers before it hits the market. So definitely a lot of access to that. And then I just wanted to, so this is, obviously everyone's very interested in cap rate. So I just wanted to show that it does give that as well. And it also forecasts what it looks like it's gonna hang pretty steady for the next little while. Yeah. But it's just good to know those numbers. So if anyone is interested in this data, if you're looking at a property and you want to know we don't necessarily have to pull it for a property, we can pull it for an area. So if you're looking and you want to know, shoot us a message. We have a new agent. His name is James. He's been brought on the team to basically provide a concierge service to our investors. You tell him what you want, he goes and finds it on market and off market.
Fantastic. Seems like
Yes.
it saves a lot of time for investors, I'll tell you that.
Yes, exactly. We understand how much time it takes, so we want to make sure that we're saving time for people. All right. And then this one is near and dear to my heart because I bought it. My husband and I bought it. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we are moving out of our downtown office into this beauty in we were in downtown Thorold. This is in downtown St. Catharines. Boutique commercial building. It's currently an art gallery. It has exposed brick, beautiful old hardwood. If anyone saw our old office, it's kind of similar. And then it also has 2 floors above where our office will be. This is just me saying we're super excited. We will move in June. And then we're going to start our investor food tours, which I will share more in my next video next month.
Excellent, excellent. How big is your team?
So we have 6 agents and a full-time admin. Okay. And that might be growing soon. Stay tuned.
That's excellent. Congratulations. Well, thank you very much for sharing all this information. I guess you just closed on this one recently.
Yeah, so when did we firm up on this one? Maybe a month ago. And then our closing date is May 31st.
Excellent, excellent. So, and what would be the best way for people to contact you directly?
Oh, I got one more thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm full of surprises today. All right. All right. So I have shared this numerous times, but I did want to share it again. I haven't been on the channel for like 4 months. So Niagara Navigator, for anyone that is looking to invest in Niagara and you want to know literally anything there is to know about Niagara, this program is so legit. So what this will do, and maybe I'll just use, okay, I'll just use this as an example because we were just looking at it. So this will pull up everything. It'll give you an idea of where everything is, where the parking lots are, all of that good stuff. But what is more interesting is if you click over here, you can see basically all there is to see about Niagara. So an example that I sometimes use is, let's say, even for insurance, like if you need to see where the closest fire station is, you can do that. But schools, it's going to start to show me where the schools are. I'm going to zoom out just so you can see better. But this is also a great tool for, let's say, the Niagara on the Lake investors that are looking for, okay, I'm buying an Airbnb in Niagara on the Lake. I need to know where the wineries are. That is also on here, and it's going to take me forever to find. There we go. And you'll see a bunch of little grapes show up. Wineries, police stations, fire stations. Those will all start to pull up. The one thing I will say that I do love about this, so one thing, especially for Airbnb investors, but for all investors, it's very important to know what the capital budget points are, meaning what major projects are taking place, what roads are they ripping up, what buildings are they building, what hospitals are they building. If you go here and you start to click into these, it's going to tell you exactly what they're doing. So if you're an investor that's looking for future appreciation, you're going to want to know these things because it's going to tell you for their budget plan for usually the next 4 years what they're doing. The best example I have of this is for the Queenston investors. That's a neighborhood in St. Catharines. It's been known to be, kind of the worst neighborhood in St. Catharines. I own there. They just finally announced that there's an old hospital that they tore down. It's homeless. There's an issue with homelessness, drugs, etc. They are building I think it's 1,200 brand new units, whether it's townhomes, condos, it's a mixture right down the street from my rental, and for many people that. So if you're starting to invest based off of future appreciation, this is your best friend.
Excellent. And this is part of the concierge service that you mentioned. So
we can definitely do this, but this is for anyone. This is just a public program.
No, I thought it had to be like a special booking, and then
no. I wish that I created this, but unfortunately Niagara Region beat me to it.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I can definitely see the huge amount of help and decision making that this data set can help you take action on. So very cool, very excellent. You guys have access to this.
Absolutely, it is awesome. So Thank you so much, Ed. This has been great.
No, I've learned a lot more about Niagara other than Niagara on the Lake. I've only ever been there for the falls and and for this for Niagara on the Lake, but it's been very educational. Thank you very much.
I'm
And
glad.
what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay, so all my information is below, but follow me on Instagram, agent.kaylas. All my links are in my bio, and I look forward to chatting with everyone.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Bye.